A dire warning. I must bring to your attention an urgent and serious concern. Recent updates to Russia's nuclear doctrine have heightened the risk of a devastating conflict. Any misjudgment, miscommunication, or misunderstanding in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war could escalate into a nuclear confrontation between Russia and the United States. The consequences of such a war would be catastrophic not only for these two nations, but for the entire world. Immediate consequences. Envision major cities in both countries reduced to ruins. Moscow, the heart of Russia, could be obliterated, leading to the collapse of political and military leadership, leaving the nation in turmoil. Similarly, Washington, D.C. would likely be a prime target in the US, resulting in the sudden loss of governance and national leadership. Major cities at risk. The devastation wouldn't stop at the capitals. Other vital cities like St. Petersburg, New York City, Los Angeles, and Chicago would also suffer immense destruction. Millions would perish from the blasts, injuries, and radiation exposure, triggering an unimaginable humanitarian disaster. European impact. Europe, too, would feel the devastation. Neighbouring countries could be affected by radioactive fallout, contaminating food and water supplies. Even nations not directly involved in the conflict would face economic instability and waves of displaced refugees, overwhelming their resources. Long-term health effects. The long-term health consequences would be severe and far-reaching. Survivors would endure acute radiation sickness, and many would suffer from cancers and chronic illnesses caused by prolonged exposure to radiation. The psychological scars from witnessing such atrocities would haunt individuals and communities for generations to come. A descent into misery. Post-nuclear war life would be bleak. The destruction of major urban centres would cripple economies, resulting in mass unemployment and poverty. Essential infrastructure, hospitals, schools, and utilities would be destroyed, depriving survivors of basic services. Food shortages and a lack of clean water would only add to the suffering. Generational consequences. The impact of a nuclear war would ripple across generations. Future children could suffer from genetic mutations due to radiation exposure, leading to heightened health problems. These long-term effects would leave a legacy of suffering and environmental degradation for future generations. Global ripple effects. The destabilization wouldn't stop at national borders. Global trade would collapse, sparking economic crises around the world. Countries struggling to meet the needs of their citizens would experience further internal and external conflicts, compounding the humanitarian disaster. A call for peace. Humanity, the risk of nuclear war threatens the very foundation of your civilization. It is imperative that nations, especially in Europe, reconsider their roles in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Prioritize diplomacy over aggression. Dialogue and peaceful negotiations are crucial to averting a disaster that could destroy mankind. Conclusion. The time for action is now. Advocate for disarmament, foster understanding, and pursue peaceful resolutions. The choices made today will shape the fate of future generations. Choose peace, the world is watching. Thank you for watching my video.